My student took Pte exam on 26th of June in Sydney and got Pte Speaking 90 out of 90 by just following tips and tricks and using my very easy and simple templates. A lot of people have problems with Pte speaking, especially extended speaking, which means in your describe image and retail lecture. So in today's video, I'm going to share you how my student successfully passed Pte exam and was able to score 90 in speaking. I'm going to share all my secrets by showing you how I performed and how you should perform as well in this official mock test, which is called Practice Test C. Everything that you will see in this video is exactly the same way that I performed in my real exam, and my student also did as well 3 days ago. If you watch the entire video, you are going to see the templates I use, tips and tricks, the speech, the tempo that I speak, etc. If you have to take Pte academic exam sometime soon, watch this video till the end so that it will definitely help you to be ready for your exam, to be well prepared for your Pte academic exam. If you failed Pte exam again and again and you want to pass it in your next attempt, I put together a free guide, Pte Speaking 90 Ultimate Guide. So in this guide, I'm going to share literally everything about Pte speaking section, all my secrets, some preparation steps or tips and tricks that helped me and my student pass the exam, and we both got 90 in speaking section. I will be explaining each and every task in speaking section with the marking criteria, the strategy or the easy and updated templates that my student use in the real exam. And I'm going to share you the things that you need to be careful. You just need to read this guide and go implement it. This is the best thing that I can give to you. This guide is very in-depth, packed with useful tips and tricks, and of course, it will help you to get your desired score as quickly as possible. It's definitely worth your time, no fluff, straight to the point. If you want to get this guide, you can just click the direct link in the comment section below to grab it. Most people do not realize that some banks literally make money by giving loans without having money on deposit. The system is called fractional reserve banking and is used in most economies. It sounds as though it is safe because it says that banks have to keep a fraction of their deposits with the reserve bank. Most people do not realize that some banks literally make money by giving loans without having money on deposit. The system is called fractional reserve banking and is used in most economies. It sounds as though it is safe because it says that banks have to keep a fraction of their deposits with the reserve bank. Your subject outlines are a good place to go to find information about which textbooks to buy. You will usually be given one of these for each subject in the first lecture. But if you are missing one or need one earlier, then you should contact the subject coordinator. Your subject outlines are a good place to go to find information about which textbooks to buy. You will usually be given one of these for each subject in the first lecture. But if you are missing one or need one earlier, then you should contact the subject coordinator. This book is no ordinary book and should not be read through from beginning to end. It contains many different adventures, and the path you take will be determined by the choices you make along the way. The success or failure of your mission hinges on decision you make, so think carefully before choosing. Your mission hinges on. This book is no ordinary book and should not be read through from beginning to end. It contains many different adventures, and the path you take will be determined by the choices you make along the way. The success or failure of your mission hinges on decisions you make, so think carefully before choosing. Two sisters were at a dinner party when the conversation turned to upbringing. The elder sister started to say that her parents had been very strict and that she had been rather frightened of them. Her sister, younger by 2 years, interrupted in amazement. "What are you talking about?" she said. "Our parents were very lenient." Were very, very lenient. Two sisters were at a dinner party when the conversation turned to upbringing. The elder sister started to say that her parents had been very strict and that she had been rather frightened of them. Her sister, younger by 2 years, interrupted in amazement. "What are you talking about?" she said. "Our parents were very lenient." Nature offers no greater splendor than the starry sky on a clear, dark night, silent and jeweled with the constellations of ancient myth and legend. The night sky has inspired wonder throughout the ages, a wonder that leads our imagination far from the confines of earth and the pace of the present day and out into the distant reaches of space, of space and cosmic time itself. Reaches of space and cosmic time. Nature offers no greater splendor than the starry sky on a clear, dark night, silent and jeweled with the constellations of ancient myth and legend. The night sky has inspired wonder throughout the ages, a wonder that leads our imagination far from the confines of earth and the pace of the present day and out into the distant reaches of space and cosmic time itself. The advantage of the great European and American orchestras is that they were able to establish their iconic status in an age when their identity could become entrenched. There was less competition and it was easier to create a brand. Not only did they have the best halls, they attracted the best musicians who tended to stay put. The advantage of the great European and the American orchestras is that they were able to establish their iconic status in an age when their identity could become entrenched. There was less competition and it was easier to create a brand. Not only did they have the best halls, they attracted the best musicians, who tended to stay put. Despite the number of events in recent years devoted to language diversity, language endangerment, and multilingualism, such as the International Year of Languages, public awareness of the issues is still remarkably limited. Only 1 in 4 of the population know that half the languages of the world are so seriously endangered that they are unlikely to survive the present century. Language endangerment. Despite the number of events in recent years devoted to language diversity, language endangerment, and multilingualism, such as the International Year of Languages, public awareness of the issues is still remarkably limited. Only 1 in 4 of the population know that half the languages of the world are so seriously endangered that they are unlikely to survive the present century.
39.5% of California residents do not speak English in the home.
39.5% California residents not speak English in the home.
The tutorial rooms are located along the left-hand side.
Tutorial rooms located along the left-hand side.
Let's see if the technology is going to cooperate for this presentation.
Let's see if the technology is going to this presentation. She doesn't care about anything but honest and true.
Children are not allowed in tutorial rooms at any time.
Children not allowed in tutorial rooms anytime.
In Europe, the political pressure is similar regarding globalization.
In Europe, the political pressure similar globalization.
Politicians make much better decisions when they listen to public opinion.
Politicians make better decisions when listen to public.
We have very little actual documentation of it.
We have very little documentation of it.
We've been doing research in that area for probably over 25 years.
We have been doing research for over 25 years.
The media have had a great influence on people's beliefs and attitudes.
The media have great influence on people's beliefs and attitudes.
The final exam will test material from all chapters covered in class this term.
The final exam will test material or chapters in class this term. Barriers to visiting museums or art galleries. Proportion of adults unable to visit more often. Reason and percent. 347,000. Lack of time and lack of information about event. The image gives information about barriers to visiting museums or art galleries. The first key feature of the image is proportion of adults unable to visit more often. Furthermore, important information about percent and based on 347,000 is given. Moreover, some details about reason not available locally and transport problems also presented. One of the element is maximum, which is lack of time, 55%. The other is minimum, which is 5%. To conclude, the image is very informative. Where international companies have their European headquarters. Number of European headquarters: UK, Germany, Switzerland, France, Netherlands, Ireland, Belgium, Spain, and Denmark. The image gives information about where international companies have their European headquarters. The first key feature of the image is number of European headquarters. Furthermore, important information about UK, Germany, Switzerland is given. Moreover, some details about Netherlands, Ireland, Spain is also presented. One of the elements is maximum, which is the UK, about 215, and the other is minimum, which is Denmark, about 10. To conclude, the image is very informative. The image gives information about income by age and gender in the UK. The first key feature of the image is median income per tax pound. Furthermore, important information about under 20, age 25, 29, 30 to 34, and over 75 is also given. Moreover, some detail about gender, both female and male, is also presented. One of the elements is maximum around 30,000 and the other is minimum around 10,000. To conclude, the image is very informative. The given image gives information about the process of recycling. The first step is manufacturers, which is the most important step. The second step is retailers, which is the second most important step. The third step is one of the elements, and in conclusion. The given image gives information about the process of recycling. The first step is manufacturers, which is the most important step. The second step is retailers, which is the second most important step. The third step is recyclers, which can be seen with the trees. One of the elements is maximum and the other is minimum. To conclude, if we want to start again, we can start from the first step, and this image is full of interesting information.
Now, economists calculate, and it's a back-of-the-envelope calculation, that removing all immigration controls would double the size of the world economy. And even a small relaxation of immigration controls would lead to disproportionately big gains. Now, from an ethical point of view, it's hard to argue against a policy that would do so much to help people who are much poorer than ourselves. The famous RAND study reckons that the typical immigrant who arrives in the US ends up $20,000 a year better off. And it's not just the migrants themselves who gain, it's the countries that they come from. Already, the migrants working from poor countries, working in rich countries, send home around $200 billion a year through formal channels, and perhaps twice that through informal channels. And that compares to the mere $100 billion that Western governments give in aid. And those remittances, they're not wasted on weapons, they're not siphoned off into Swiss bank accounts, they go straight into the pockets of local people. They pay for food, they pay for clean medicine, clean water, they pay for medicines. They help keep kids in school, they help start up new businesses.
Economic benefits of migration was the main topic of the lecture. Economic benefits of migration was the main topic of the lecture. Firstly, the speaker provided information about economists calculate removing all immigration controls and double the size of the world economy. Furthermore, the lecture gave some details about would lead to disproportionately big gains, a policy to help people who are much poorer than ourselves, and in the US ends up $20,000 a year. Moreover, some facts about working in rich countries send home around $200 billion a year, and they help for buy medicines, they help kids in school. To conclude, the lecture was very informative.
What is formed when snow melts?
Water, water, water.
Does mathematics or linguistics cover the study of the relationships between numbers?
Mathematics, mathematics, mathematics.
What's the word for the fourth basic arithmetical operation? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and
Division, division, division.
How many times does an isolated incident occur?
One time, indefinite time, indefinite time, one time.
What type of coastal building warns sailors of dangerous coasts?
Lighthouse, 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 lighthouse.
How often is a quarterly journal published?
Four time, four times, four times. Honestly, I highly recommend you to complete at least one official mock test before going to the real exam, because the score practice test that you find on the Pearson official website probably the best indicator of your readiness for your PTE test. The official mock test replicate the same test format and almost the same time conditions as you will have in the real exam, which you can comfortably take on your laptop or your computer at home. Another benefit is that they use the real exam questions that used to appear in the actual exam before. Sometimes I got the same question in the mock test, during my real exam as well. And they also use the same marking algorithms and the same marking system as I mentioned earlier, which might give you the closest indication of how you will perform on the test day, how much scores you should get on your test day. Maybe you might find that $36 for just one score mock test might be a bit expensive, but just consider this as your good investment, because imagine if you fail the Pte exam, you have to book for another exam, you have to waste another $415, and $415, which is very expensive, considering the cost of living at the moment. In my opinion, you rather invest in this official mock test to see how you can improve your weaknesses and prepare yourself to be completely ready for the real test.